Series of the day. I know. A lot of you don't want this to ever end, but we eventually got to let our production crew go to sleep. We have one more series, Muzzy versus ETC, and you love to see 6 unique classes being brought to this head-to-head. Muzzy banned the Demon Hunter, and ETC banned the Warrior. The first time I think we've seen today the Demon Hunter being banned, at least in Americas. It happened in APAC, and I might have missed it. But Demon Hunter just got nerfed, and yet Muzzy's still banning it. Any thoughts on that, TJ?
It's kind of a toss-up. I think he just assumes that like his Highlander Hunter probably has an easier time against the Warrior than the Demon Hunter because he has a little bit of room to breathe. Because Quest Warlock, that one's tough. I think that one's might be even better against Demon Hunter because Warrior has the burst damage to be able to push through. But if he thinks that Highlander Hunter is going to be his weak point in the series, then leaving up Warrior gives him a slightly better chance to fight back in the series because it improves his worst matchup. That seems to be the only times when Warrior gets left up. But yeah, we've seen some quite a variety of bans today, honestly. We've seen a couple of Quest Warlock bans. We saw a Highlander Hunter ban earlier in the day. Seen Warrior ban, seen Demon Hunter banned. Way more variety of bans than we've seen over the past couple weeks where it's been 80% plus Warrior and the occasional Demon Hunter thrown into the mix. So, ETC also running Spell Druid, which we've seen have some middling results. Pretty poor today in Americas, but quite good across other regions. And yeah, Quest Warlock is undefeated. It's either banned or won. It has not lost.
Interesting. Well, I mean, Quest Warlock taking a ban is still a win in my books. So
7-0,
undefeated, very much so.
Yeah, Muzzy's list quite similar to many that you'll see. He does run a corruption, right, which is an interesting inclusion in the deck.
What's important is that Supreme Archaeology, the quest, is not a key card. It doesn't matter. Dark Skies is more important. You can just mulligan the quest every single game.
Yep.
There you go. TJ approved.
This is I've been doing. I said it earlier. I've been doing key cards for over a year. If there was a quest deck that was called Quest This, I've never included the quest in key cards. Because that's a card that's just always there when it's called Quest something. I didn't do it when Quest Shaman was good. I didn't do it when Quest Hunter was being played.
Well, this time it's different, TJ, or perhaps we can challenge conventional thinking. Let's go into Quest Warlock. Game number 1 here. You know what to do, Muzzy. Wait, TJ, hold on.
What?
Hold on. Muzzy kept the quest.
He did.
Would you say it's a key card?
He also kept Sense Demons. Would you say that's a key card?
I would say so.
The whole deck is key cards.
I don't know.
I need 30 key card slots.
Why? Because it's a Highlander deck?
No. Because Crazed Netherwing, both of them are key cards.
I would say...
Some matchups, you need both of them.
I suppose so.
Same with Morag Artificer. Both of them are key cards.
Ooh, ETC with the very key Fungal Fortunes play right here. Oh no, he lost his Mountain Cellar. Another key card.
Nope, that's not a key card on the Druid list. I actually forgot what the key cards for Druid are. It's like Fungal Fortunes, Glowfly Swarm, and Overflow. I don't even know. Nice.
Some would say that there is an overflow amount of key cards, TJ.
There is. Ooh, the coin overgrowth.
Yes. Will be a key turn in this matchup.
Yep. Ooh, a key life tap going on here for Muzzy.
Okay, unironically, this plot twist is actually a key card.
Yeah, it's sick.
Just to keep up the card draw, and you can see how he's really close. He's 15 out of 20.
He's drawing his big stuff, though, which means that he's going to want to find another plot twist here soon. Put those back in his deck. Draw him for 0 mana. There it is.
Yes, so he has the quest finished next turn, and he has the answer to Glowfly Swarm in the form of that crazed Netherwing. So, sometimes fortunate, right? Like, you do want to have that AoE ready for that Glowfly Swarm, because Dark Skies wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, it would be with Morg Artificer, right?
That's true. He also did have Rain of Fire.
Yeah,
so
he's got a lot.
He actually had several ways to answer it, but it's nice to know that you have that assurance both ways.
Yeah, actually, a full Glowfly Swarm, Morg plus Dark Skies would not have done it because he would only have had 8 cards in hand when he played Dark Skies, and there's a chance that it hits his Morg twice and leaves 1 Glowfly up.
Time waits for no one.
But if he didn't have Crazed Netherwing, I think you'd take that. Oh, it's so clean. Oh, yeah. It's actually all of it's clean. Just everything. But this is the cleanest. ETC is like, what do I do now?
Yep, this is... what? Why is this constantly happening to Druid? Where it's just like, I can choose to do nothing, or I can choose to overdraw and risk losing my win condition, and it feels like that keeps happening. You know what this is? Having Kael'thas not be in the deck and playing it anyways is like The Office past season 5. Just feels like it's just
having it in the deck but not playing it?
Yeah. Kael'thas is like the Michael Scott holding the glue of this deck together, TJ.
All right, well, you're talking about like past season 7 then.
All right, I don't even know. I lost track. You clearly know very well. You've watched The Office like dozens of times.
Yep.
Okay. So whatever season he leaves. Oh wow! Spoiler alert, by the way. Whatever season he leaves.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert: the show eventually ends. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the reference, Dan.
Thank you.
I appreciate the reference.
Thank you. I kind of want to just slam this Abyssal Summon. Is that okay? Is that okay, TJ?
That's
Do I have your permission?
That's absolutely fine.
Oh! That's a really good...
Well, draw a second Glowfly Swarm, but just not even good.
What to do?
Yep, Innervate Overflow, and hope that you pick up Ysera Unleashed. And can play that next turn. Fog Beam's good to stop some damage, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, this stalls.
Power the Wild instead.
He has to kind of answer this 8/8, otherwise he is going to get blown out. So what's he going to do? Is he going to Fog Beam? Is he going to Power the Wild? It could be both.
Could be.
Wouldn't be great.
No, it'd be terrible. He'd still trade them both in. Well, you could Power the Wild and Ironbark one, but
Right.
he wants to go off with this exotic Mount Seller next turn.
Oh,
Okay. Phew, I was worried that Muzzy wouldn't be at 30 when this game ended, but
I know. You
Glad
need to
he
go
drew
for
that.
the ultimate victory, which is 30 life while you deliver lethal. All right, now we get the quest completed.
we have board.
I love the corruption inclusion. That's got to be a key card.
I don't even know what it's for.
The corruption,
Yeah.
me neither. But it's cool.
What minion do you think corruption is ideal for?
Good question.
I feel like
guess-
the unstable Fellbolt would be like better in that situation in most cases. I don't know. Did you want to play it early?
There's no like single target removal that Warlock lacks, right? You could just play Siphon Soul, for example.
Yeah.
Corruption. Oh, you know what it is? I think it might just be cheap cards to play.
Well, that's why I said like the unstable Fellbolt. That
Right.
deal 3 damage
Yeah.
to yourself and or to one of your minions and your opponent's minion.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, is it? This is lethal.
This is
By the
lethal,
way,
yeah.
the 2 Nether Breaths. I actually didn't even pay attention to ATC's health count because that's usually not how this matchup goes. But Muzzy able to pressure? He won before his 9th mana crystal.
That's
He
ridiculous.
just played like a mid-range Warlock and just killed him.
And he was at 30 life.
Ah,
He completed the
ultimate
quest.
Victory.
He completed the quest but never even used it. Or he used it once. It was basically like he just played with one less card in his mulligan.
All right, well, here we go. Muzzy's up 1-0, and he is pretty good position to continue to climb here as I have a lot of faith in Demon Hunter and Hunter specifically right now. And EDC still has some ground to make up. And that brings us to our final break of today. So when we come back, we're going to finish out the games, and then we'll see how everyone sits after 6 weeks, rather 5 weeks and some change play. So don't go anywhere. More Hearthstone Grandmasters continues right after this.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Rank up with America's largest 5G network. Switch to T-Mobile today.
Okay, so if I could instantly be an expert in anything, what would it be?
Gosh, what's important to me? Interviews, because it would be useful like about right now.
English expert, because I can understand and answer your question more easily.
I would try to be a pilot because that's something I've always wanted to do when I was young.
I think I'd really like to be a snowboarder. That seems like fun.
I'll probably like to be a movie director.
If I was going to instantly become an expert in anything, it would be in meditation.
Well, I'm studying architecture, so I would like to skip all the years I have left and become an architect already.
Chess. It's a game I played a lot when I was younger, but I've taken more of an interest in it lately, and I'm a lot worse at that than I am at Hearthstone.
I would love to become an expert at cooking, like hands down. I'd get so fat. I watch cooking shows at home all the time, and I just drool at looking at my television.
Welcome to our final stretch here of day number 1, week number 6, as Muzzy and ETC are currently going at it head-to-head. Apologies for my pixelation. Trying to keep it together here, TJ, as I'm fading into obscurity with my pixelated screen. We have ETC's Warrior coming up next here, as looks like he's going to be playing a pretty straightforward run-of-the-mill Pain Warrior. And what does Muzzy have in response heading into game 2? Is Quest Warlock got the win. Undefeated so far. Is Quest Warlock just tier 1? This is starting to really bend my mind here, TJ. We've memed Supreme Archaeology for so long that it might just be hard to accept as a reality.
So Monsanto brought it, obviously much different environment, because there was cards that are in the deck that didn't exist up until that point. Monsanto brought it once in Season 2 of Grandmasters in 2019. Lost spectacularly. And then Rivius brought it earlier this season in APAC. And he's been jamming it on America's server since then. So for weeks. Every time I'm playing against Rivius on ladder, he's playing that deck.
Right.
And it's had million results against me, but he saw the future, and now that it's actually meta, he doesn't bring it anymore to Grandmasters. He's like, yeah, that's old news.
It's so interesting.
But I think it's good.
Players have a lot of rationale going into that deck preparation stage, and they really do think about all those possibilities. So, I'm going to trust that they at least put in the time, even if their conclusions aren't necessarily always spot on, because not every player is correct in the way they're thinking. And that's what makes it interesting, right? It's opinions that are strongly held, or it's strong opinions that should be loosely held in a game like Hearthstone. But yeah, sometimes we have strong opinions that are really tightly gripped upon, and that might cost players. But at the same time, there's a lot of logic behind it. Anyways, kind of focusing back on this game, Muzzy started off with Scavenger's Ingenuity, finding the Zixor, while ETC kind of has the nice, very convenient 1-2-3 setup here.
He's just playing minions.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, okay, I have a 3-cost card to play on 3. I have a 4-cost card to play on 4. This looks correct to me.
Yeah. Play Cork on Elite and go face.
Thing about going face is it does feel like you set yourself up to let the Zixor take even more value trades. So I think I kind of like the trade in here. I know that feels really bad, but I think that's for the best.
Yeah, I just want to cut down on the amount of time I'm given, especially with his hand right now. His hand says deal damage. He has Bloodstorm Mercenary, Corcoran Elite, Grom. He has no
It's
Risky Skipper.
true.
He has no like anchor to find or to draw cards to find value.
Yeah,
Or
but I mean,
get Battle
Muzzy,
Rage.
Muzzy also has like a lot of opportunities to punish that too. So hard to say.
Yeah.
Wow, this is looking like a very mediocre series of draws here for ETC. He doesn't have any. Well, he doesn't have any cards that damages his minions.
Yep.
One Inner Rage and his hand would actually start to look a lot better.
Yeah, 2 Inner Rages and his hand just wins the game. What about enough Therial Lackey to get an Inner Rage?
Job
Nope.
done.
But Draconic Lackey can help, fill up these awkward turns that he might have coming up. Muzzy set up Desert Spear. He's got Varanus lined up for whenever he wants it. I don't know if this is a board that warrants it, but honestly, it seems pretty good because he clears the board, which is 14 health. So Varanus essentially Battlecry, deal 12 damage to the board.
Yeah, I do kind of like playing the Ooze as well to just like reduce my opponent's options. He's kind of like floundering a bit. Playing like Armor Smith on curve, not really on curve, but as just a minion to play to fill out your curve, in my opinion, shows kind of a sign of weakness from the hand.
Yeah, that's true.
Warrior tends to save that card as a combo opportunity for a bunch of other things. So I do like the Ooze. Not to mention, giving your opponent extra armor just like, slowly makes cards like Battle Rage harder to activate.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most important thing, Muzzy keeps his coin flexible so that way he can use it for Downtamer Brand next turn. Ooh, ETC does pick up big ol' Whelp. That is actually very helpful. One thing that ETC kind of lacked was like a meaningful hand of options, and that does improve his options. Oh, perhaps he's going to go for this.
Your flaws are strength.
But not the end of the world. This is a pretty big investment that just kind of gets shut down by Varanus.
Yeah. Shake of the head from ETC.
Yeah, that's bad news.
Bad
he
news.
is in real big trouble.
Yeah, and Muzzy's got so much follow-up.
Yeah, it might come down to ETC needing to just draw Inner Rage and end the game with Grom. Like, in this position, what do you do here? If you go for the Core Crown Elite and just start pushing damage, I think that's a little bit too obvious, and Muzzy just has to play, like, a single taunt, and now you can't get through. Although, how many taunts are in this deck for Muzzy? Doesn't seem like that many.
1? No.
See it?
0. Oh, I guess CMI, yeah. So 50% of a taunt.
So if he goes for it, he pushes 5 here, puts his bow down to 13. Hopes that he just rips the 1 or the 2 out of 20.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Intertolvier.
Okay.
Very significant and impactful taunt. Can't forget about Injured Tolvier. UTC also injured Tolviers. Time to turn on the heat.
I mean, Zigzor Prime looks very good in this spot. And I think Muzzy definitely is on the preserve the life train here, so I imagine that he would use his 1/1 trade this final point of damage here.
No, taking that 1 damage.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I mean, he's presenting 7.
Honor
Made to fit.
Plus 12, 19. Wait, is this even enough? 29. It is. Oh my goodness. So he's got 15. He's got 23 damage to the Dynatamer brand. I think Muzzy very clearly telegraphed to him what is happening. All he has to do is set up this Tiamat with a taunt.
I wonder.
All you need to do.
Yep. The only thing he dies to is Grom Inner Rage. There are no more Korkan wings left.
Come to my aid.
That's bad news for ETC here.
Womp womp.
Yeah, with 17 showing, that means ETC would have to win on the next draw, and he just can't. It's actually impossible here, I think. Unless I'm missing something, like
no,
Livewire Lance gives him a lackey.
You'll find me wherever.
Oh, is he just even dead this turn? Might have been. I was thinking about Corrosive Breath and like Skill Command.
But even if he drew like Livewire Lance, he would have to attack into Tiamat, he'd be dead. If he draws Anchor, he'd have to attack the Tiamat, he'd be dead.
Right, and that's it. Muzzy 2-0. See, Muzzy's getting hyped. Hyped. I think, week 1 of round robin, 2-0 record. Week 2, 0-2. And so he's kind of just, keeping it together here. Just trying to go for his wins and his losses, but what's been difficult is stringing together a consistent set of wins. It seems like he's kind of been hot cold. And that also even applies to the Swiss tournaments where like he was doing well one week and another week kind of just bombed out a little bit. So
it also applied to last year, all of last year.
Where he's like either winning a lot or losing a lot.
Yeah. He had, strings of massive wins and then strings of massive losses. So Muzzy looking to try and break that curse and actually have, 2 full weeks here where he can win out. But that's also taking that win against Warrior. That's his strategy for the bans coming out in full force, right? That's the matchup, I think, theorizing here, that he specifically wanted to hit because he thought that his Hunter specifically had a better time against the Warrior than it did against Demon Hunter. And that was the matchup he was worried about. He hit Hunter into Warrior. That's a Demon Hunter in that situation. Maybe you're much worse off because you have so much less time in that matchup compared to Warrior, where they usually do have a slower start. So, paying off now, Muzzy going to go into a very difficult matchup, which is Demon Hunter versus Warrior. One of Demon Hunter's worst matchups. One of Warrior's best. Very interesting game from Europe happened earlier in the day, which was Felkane versus Boar Control, which was this very matchup. And Felkane was on the Demon Hunter playing against Boar Control's Warrior and actually won the game and had some very unique lines of play that ended up working out perfectly to line up for a top deck perfect lethal out from the Metamorphosis. I know I just spoiled it, but was a cool game to watch if you're interested in seeing this matchup at a high level. But we get to watch it again here. And basically you just have to play your cards. It's the Demon Hunter. Deal a lot of damage and hope they don't have Risky Skipper and Armorsmith.
Yeah, it's essentially like Risky Skipper or Bust for the Warrior, but, a lot of times they don't have it. A little bit under 50% of the time, they won't have it by turn 4 or 5 if they're mulliganing for it.
Job done.
And then the other thing is Risky Skipper isn't even the end-all be-all, to be quite frank. You sometimes need, like, Armorsmith to stabilize, because maybe they've done just enough damage that you cleared the board and they just start, like, going face every single turn with other combo cards. Ooh, that Silas Watcher.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good here. I think the Satyr Overseer on 3 is a little bit ambitious. Oh my goodness. I mean, Muzzy probably wants all of these cards to stay exactly where they are. Right?
Yeah, honestly.
Like, it's kind of sad that only one of these gets to put the top. I mean, there's a chance that they end up lining up anyways, exactly in that card draw order, but it's unlikely.
Warglaives was the pick.
Yeah. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, TJ, but there's like an implied shuffle after the Sightless Watcher, right?
Yes.
So what you do is you look at the top 3 cards. Then the game says pick one. You pick one, but before you place it on top of your deck is shuffled, and then you put it on top.
Yes.
Mystic Skipper comes to the hand here, so ETC will have opportunities to strike back. Question is it taking too much damage?
I mean, you could technically clear the board this turn, but after Sightless Watcher's played, you're scared of what's to come, but if you don't clear this turn, you're taking more damage. Could be potential for Blood Boil Brute to also come down if you leave these minions on board. Like if you Livewire Lance into the Blazing Battle Mage and like armor up. Then next turn you'd play 2 if your opponent plays 1 minion. The 6 cost reduced. Yeah, could come down for 1 next turn. But it would have involved an attack into the Blazing Battle Mage, I think. But, like you said, still needs some help beyond that. Like,
Right.
Risky Skipper sure can clear the board, but then Warglaives of Azanoth comes down, and boom, back to square one. You're at low health. You can continue to armor up, but that's your Risky Skipper down.
I grow impatient.
It's specifically Armorsmith that you also need. Mystic Skipper, Armorsmith are auto keeps in this matchup. Oh yeah? Interesting. Muzzy going for the trade. I think he's going to value every single hit point he can get here. And I guess it makes sense because the difference between this beaming sidekick being at 2 health versus 1 health is irrelevant in the face of this Risky Skipper.
Well, also, it's relevant for it to be lower health, because then Blood Boil Brute is more expensive.
Right, that's true. And now Blood Boil Brute hits the board. Pretty significant moment here. Whoa, I mean, that helps. Twin Slice? I mean, that gives you 5 damage.
Yeah, and he's got Skull to reload, so it's not like he's just dumping his hand to make this happen.
Yeah, this slice is kind of nice.
Sudden craving for pizza.
Oh, gosh. So hungry.
They put us in these cages and force us to cast for 8 hours, 3 days a week. They put Priest and Mage in the same game together, and they don't let us leave. They tape our eyelids open.
Tough life.
Yep. Tough life being a gamer.
Lives are so hard. What can ETC do? You know what? I was thinking about just ponying up and playing like more Chrono Deep. Also, Evasive Felwing here has some merit too. But what's the problem is that Muzzy gets to kind of clear off anything you play.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's Corsair Cash, hope you get Anchor, draw Risky Skipper, and then your next draw is Armorsmith. I don't know. Like, I feel like
vote.
this
Okay,
hand
this is
right
my
now.
vote. I vote for Evasive Felwing. You deal the damage. Your opponent takes 5. Then, you can also play Goblin Lackey here too, which I think is reasonable as well. Then you find a way to get Korokon Elite Rampage, and then you Bloodsworn Mercenary.
Oh, he drew another skull. This one is.
Oh,
Dunzo.
jeez.
Dunzo. Pack it up.
Yeah, Muzzy, thinking about the viability of not giving ETC anything to rush into. You could just Chaos Strike here. You gotta think. What's the point of playing this battle feed? You're giving another minion for your opponent to rush into stuff. But he also is short damage a little bit here. Even if he's able to Chaos Strike and go face, like clear the minion, go face, 8 is still too few hit points if your opponent armors up.
Yeah.
Grows short. I grow.
All right, Muzzy, you gotta decide now. Oh my.
Wait.
Hold on. Hold on.
ETC could go. Next turn, he has 12 damage burst from hand. With Core Crown Elite, Inner Rage, plus Bloodsworn Mercenary. But knows that he needs to armor up. Alright, he's deviate. Actually, this still works. Because Muzzy would have to clear the Core Crown Elite. Because this is a lethal setup.
Oh.
That'll do it! It's gotta be enough. Right?
Yeah, he drew both skulls. It would require specifically Metamorphosis with a second delayed amount of depth. But Muzzy with the 3-0. This is the most passion I think I've seen Muzzy.
Yeah.
In a hot minute, but that's what you love to see.
He beat Warrior twice. I don't know if that's ever happened.
That's true. I didn't even think about the fact that he was able to beat Warrior 2 times in a row there. Really good stuff coming out of Muzz.
Yeah. That was good. Good play overall. Very solid play overall. And ETC did have Risky Skipper. Not much other than that. And like you said, that's the problem. Like, you need either huge tempo onto the board when you play Risky Skipper or huge life gain at the same time. So ETC will fall down to, 1 and 3 now? Since he did have one of his earlier weeks where he only played once. Quite brutal as Muzzy moves up to 3 and 2, getting closer to trying to challenge those the players at the top, closer to solidifying playoff spot. Not bad. Not bad
at all. I was just taking a look at the standings here, and it's gonna be quite a photo finish. TJ Muzzy has improved to 3 and 2, a critical victory for him as he understands that another loss puts him that much closer to the relegation bracket. And if Muzzy wins again, he's in the playoff picture. Meanwhile, ETC with a 1 and 3 record is now putting him as a likely target for relegation once more. This is the second season back-to-back that would be the case. But after taking a look at today's matches, we have Zato taking that win against Bloody Face in a very tight series. Then Gallon with the fast sweep over Monsanto, which, Gallon had some pretty interesting plays in that first game. So if you're interested in more of some of those tighter corners, go ahead and check that out. Then potentially the series of the day, Language Hacker versus Eddie. That was quite the roller coaster. And if you missed it, well, that was definitely one of the most exciting series we've seen yet this season.
Yeah, and one of the longest too. But edge of my seat, I have never watched a more crazy single game of Hearthstone that took place in that series, with just so many back and forths and not a single turn where you could even try and predict the winner with anywhere close to certainty. So a must watch, and critics say. But taking a look at the standings, Bloody Face was delivered his first loss today by Empanizado. And that means that Gallon is now tied for first place in record, but losing out on tiebreakers since It is based off head-to-head. Bloody Face did win their match in round robin last week, and then Firebat sole possession of first place for now. But Zelay does play tomorrow against PNC, so he could have an opportunity to at least tie that record with Firebat at 4-1.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how things shape up, especially for that bottom half, considering that if a lot of them are 1-3, there's a lot more movement still to be had here. But, takeaways is people at the bottom need to win really badly. Otherwise, they don't even get a chance to have the relegation bracket.
Yeah.
So with that, we are coming to the conclusion as basically my internet signal is giving up, TJ. So we'll wrap this one real quick. Tomorrow is going to be our shorter day. We have 4 matches instead of 5. So it's going to be a slimmer Saturday, but then we have Super Sunday. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. If you missed any part of this broadcast, you can go ahead and check out all the VODs on youtube.com/Hearthstone Esports, where you're watching right now. So hit that bell and subscribe and make sure you get the notifications for when it goes live. Big shout out to our sponsor, T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Maybe if I had T-Mobile on my PC, this wouldn't be happening. Lastly, if you want to check out the standings and the schedule and everything else about the deck list, because I know a lot of people are antsy to climb with what the GMs are playing, head over to playhearthstone.com/esports. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Grandmasters with Frodan, TJ, and the rest of the crew, and we'll see you next time for more Hearthstone.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Rank up with America's largest 5G network. Switch to T-Mobile today.